Yo. Leo hatu waste time. Today we are hitting the ground running. Two topics, only two topics. We have only two topics. Parliament proceedings about TikTok regulation and Tim Kazo in Isili. The team is being said is a group of boys, Somali boys, who are terrorizing residents, like people who are, mostly business people who are doing business hapo. Leo hatuna patience. I lack patience because it's a terrible Thursday. I have this show every Thursday. On Friday I have Friday bars, but for a month I want to change it to Friday vibes. So we'll have Friday vibes tomorrow. I'll be talking about so many anything that I will excuse me. Anyway, I'll be talking about anything that will be of my interest. Then ama you can suggest, nyinyi mnaweza niambia oh, Jao, talk about this. We can always do that. So you guys, you choose. You can tell me. I take suggestions. I take suggestions. And about this parliament proceedings, I saw it on TikTok, and this is honorable. Is it an honorable? I don't know. It's MP Kajwang, and there's MP Njeri, then there's another MP. So I want us to listen. Like, let's just listen. What is how it started? Like, they are saying wanataka kuweka more regulation on TikTok, but they don't want to ban it. That's what they are saying. But do we trust them? And there are so many speculations that are being reasoned, like by people. But anyway, let's get it.
Question of TikTok is an important discussion which we must have because we are leaders and the Constitution has given us the mandate, especially of oversight. And oversight involves issues which concerns the people and for which the institutions are made. But we are also parents and we have children. Those in my age, and I know the member for Tharaka is one of those who are in my age bracket, are raising. Oundo is fairly young, but I think he...
Ndo maana siwezi watch video za parliament. Nyinyi mliamua tu mujaze parliament na wasa wamebit. Umse badala go to straight to the point, ameanza story ndefu. Nikawa wale watu wenye wanasemanga mwalimu, mine is just to echo what mwalimu has said, yangu si mengi. Then he continues talking for an hour after kusema yangu si mengi. Go straight to the point. I've already watched this video. That's why I'm very impatient.
He could be in the general bracket where I am, and I'm sure yours faithfully is somewhere a little young, but floating somewhere. We all have teenage children. They are outgrowing and are becoming adults, but we worry every time. First, our responsibilities as parents to be able to instruct these children in the best way possible, lead them by example, and also nurture their spiritual selves. They may not all be Christians. They may not even believe. They could be even apostates. But every parent would wish that a child leads a spiritual life which is effective and which leads him or her to be a moral person who is effective in national building or building the world. And so the question of TikTok, we must speak about it. when you saw young people here who came to taste the food.
Ndo amefika kwa point sasa, ndo amefika kwa point after 2 minutes man.
Food we had there and said that the pilipili was not good enough. You could see some of the issues which they were raising.
Tulisema, walisema chumvi.
And how they organized themselves and how robustly they debated. There was a disconnect between the leaders and the young people because the communication platform was not even.
Acha uongo. The disconnect has been there ever since. The disconnect has been there ever since. Si sahi, si wakati ya Gen Z protest. The disconnect has been there ever since because many of you MPs, you get elected, you are elected in, let's say in the Western region, maybe somewhere, maybe you are elected, let me say where, somewhere in Busia. But you don't live in Busia, you go and live in Nairobi. Utakuwa na connection aje na utaconnect aje na watu wa ground. Some of you even go further and even you just travel the whole year, uko Maju, uko wapi, like you go and live in Karen, you go and live in those lavish areas. Hata unaweza pata MP wa area fulani aishingi hiyo area, ako tu na keja huko, lakini hata ainanga mutu. Ukienda pale ni ma servants quarter, so ni ma servants ndo wako hapo. Hiyo disconnect inaanzianga hapo. The fact that you don't live in the same area that you are representing, hapo ndo disconnect inaanzianga, si communication platform. Am I reacting too early? I should wait. You know, waheshimiwa, they have a lot of brains. I should wait.
And so, if we don't discuss this and listen to it with the ear of a young person, we may not, we may miss the mark. You see, the question of TikTok raises pertinent issues for lawyers, for example. There is the question of data sovereignty, that every global world claims data sovereignty, data privacy. It is an integral part that if you want to live a dignified life with integrity, there must be an amount of privacy as a person that you must withhold. It even goes beyond gender privacy. It goes to human being. As a human being, you must be clothed by God-given rights to have privacy in terms of what data can be harvested from you, management of that data, custody of that data. But there is also a big question of national security.
The more I listen, the more it comes to me that si tumependa tu kufatana na USA. Like Wakenya tumependa tu kufatana na USA. Like most of our things that we do, tunafatanga tu USA. Most of our things, if you really look at it vizuri, most of our things, like, because juzi tu ndo USA had a problem with TikTok, and because they could not ban it, wakaamua kufanya nini? Kuiregulate. And how did they regulate it? By making their own version of TikTok that will be owned by Americans and controlled by Americans. Ama why all of a sudden we want to regulate TikTok? Is it because of the election next year? Is it because during the Gen Z protest wase walikuwa live kwa TikTok, tunaona kenye inafanyika CBD, like mse ako live, video kitu ikifanyika, video inapostiwa saa hiyo hiyo, and people will see what's really happening. Is that the reason? Because which regulations do you want? Like data privacy, data gani? You can put a rule or a restriction on government buildings equal like if you have TikTok on your phone, it can't work while you're inside that building. You can do that. If you fear government data will be stolen, like itakuwa breached. Because for me, I don't have anything important on my phone. Enye ndasema ati my data is being stolen though. Hata wakisema ati they are stealing my data to sell them to sell the data to advertisement agents. Ama advertisement agents wa Kenya watani advertisia vitu za Amazon ama Alibaba. Hata area Alibaba. Like, come on. To the common mwananchi, TikTok hata to the common mwananchi, TikTok ni source of entertainment. Some of us use it. The ones who have business, they use it to advertise their business. There's so much good that TikTok does than the bad. Plus, if you really think about it,
if we don't look at national security, we will expose ourselves to harmful effects that could very well, undermine our security. And the question of mental health is real. We live with these children. Some of them are in rooms which we created for them. We've built those rooms, but they lock those rooms until they cannot be able to engage with us. They come at midnight to look for food. And sometimes they don't even ask their mothers. Yeah?
Wazazi wanapitia. But mental health issue ilianza na Instagram, if I remember well. Like, beauty standard was being set so high on Instagram that some people went to depression. Like, it was serious.
Because they don't want to interact with us because we do not have a platform which is equal to them. But mental health, it's a big issue. Children are now struggling with issues of, self-harm. In those rooms, they can harm themselves. It's on that company, the Chinese company, to explain to what extent would it be answerable to harmful issues of the platform that they have. In most jurisdictions, we have moved. We are not, and I'm glad the committee is not prescribing ban.
So, in short, they want to regulate TikTok. And when the government say it wants to regulate something, you know what it means. Regulate. They want to control. So at the same time na hiyo mambo ya kuregulate, they can use it. They can use the platform. They can use it. Like, let's say wanataka content ya kuonyesha gavando the government is good. But remember, hao ndo wana control, so they can just push content yenye inaonyesha like the government is good. Man, if it ya govern me, I don't like it. I don't like talking about politics because I know I'm very outspoken. Na mi ubonga sana, so can easily get in trouble. Hii mambo ya gava, sikia hii.
Note that the petitioner had prayed that TikTok is entirely banned in Kenya, and appreciate the committee for disregarding that request. Honorable Speaker, I will deviate from the contributions that have been done on this floor and confirm that I am an active TikTok member, and I use the platform to educate the young people on the legislation initiatives I undertake on the floor and other constituency engagements. Honorable Speaker,
Maina Jen Njeri,
I have read
the MP,
this report extensively, and my law lecturer taught me to always look for the devil in the details.
Mm-hmm.
And I do ask myself, why now? What is the rationale behind it? How extensive will these regulations be? Will they be used to stifle dissent, to stifle key fundamental rights and freedoms guaranteed by the Constitution of this great Republic of Kenya? And I ask this, Honorable Speaker, because we do not live in a vacuum. We have seen that autocratic governments that seek to govern absolutely stifle any means of communication that the young people use to reach out to each other, to engage as a community. Besides, I have heard members say that they saw very graphic details on TikTok. TikTok operates.
Bro, ukiona mafurumbanya ama ukiona tabia mbaya kwa TikTok, it means at certain point ulisearch your stuff. Hawakuleteangi tu algorithm haiwaki hivyo. They will bring to you what you watch the most. Kama sahi time ya Ramadan, if you just search Ramadan, every 2-3 videos they will bring you a video about Ramadan. They will never bring you a video like just like a FYP wanakusuggestia video enye hauna interest nayo.
Operates on a very sequential algorithm. It operates on a For You page. So it feeds you what you search for. It feeds you.
MP wana search mafurumbanya. Wana search mavitu hakuna alafu wanakuja hapa kusema TikTok ni chafu. Mbona yangu si chafu? Yangu imejaa tu mapodcaster, manduthi na mapaka because I love cats. The three things that are there: podcast, cats, podcast and cats, then bikes. Then once in a while ndaona comedy. Ndaona Chris Kena amepop, ndaona Flakwa amepop, ndaona Jemo amepop, ndaona Katena amepop, ndaona Wololo amepop. But ukienda kwa TikTok then usearch mafurumbanya, usearch hizo trend chafu chafu, bro, your TikTok itajaa hiyo vitu. So yeah, clap for your MP. Yeah.
You the information that you're looking for, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, it is therefore important that perhaps before we utter some things on this floor, we are aware of how TikTok operates. Honorable Speaker, countries like Bangladesh.
Alikuwa anataka kuinject. Amelenga tu. Perhaps my MP mna uchu vitu chafu. Angesema tu hivyo.
When they had restrictions on TikTok during election period, the country went down in ruins. So it is imperative for this report to capture the extent of these regulations that will be proposed on TikTok and any other social media platform. Oftentimes, Honorable Speaker, when people feel that perhaps the government is trying to stifle expression of their rights, we always see explosions, and we do not want to see that because we know that we are nearing the election period in 2027, Honorable Speaker.
Yeah, MP she's making a lot of sense, more than Ule, the first guy. Please, bana. Unaona, at least huyu, she's not as old as the other guy who was suggesting like TikTok should be regulated and nini. Like she has some information. It's high time tuache kuelect wazee bana. Wazee waende home. Hao wazee watakuja kutumaliza, bro. We are jobless. You are trying to distract yourself with TikTok. They also want to regulate TikTok. Kila time ukiscroll ni video za State House. Kila time ukiscroll ni video ya MP akifungua choo somewhere kwa shule akifanya celebration, hey, I've built a toilet for you. And another question, why do we have to celebrate a politician for doing his or her work? Let's say politician amejenga choo ya shule, he has to take 1 million photos, then we have to clap for him for 39 days. It doesn't make sense, bana. That's his work. Hiyo ni kazi yako. Politician ati amefanya juu chini, mmeletewa basari. He wants you to praise him for that, for doing your work. Ni kama mimi, every time I breathe in, I breathe out, I should be clapping for my nose. Hey. It doesn't make sense, man. Let's stop celebrating politicians for doing their work. Let them just do their work. And without being said, man, I'm tired of this political talk. So these guys, they want to regulate TikTok. They want to regulate TikTok. That's the thing. They want to strict regulation. That's it. When you research, when you go to Google or when you go to Chrome and search TikTok regulation in Kenya, parliament proceedings, they will underline the word strict regulation, because regulations are there. Bro, TikTok live ukiingia unyambe tu vibaya, wanafunga live. Mbona unashuta ya mavi inanuka hivyo? Wanafunga live. TikTok is so sensitive. YouTube is even better. Bro, TikTok is very sensitive. So I don't know. So na hii mambo ya regulation, we know how the Babylon moves, bro. Inaanzanga hivyo, let's regulate, kidogo. Unasikia ukitaka kulogin lazima uweke KRA pin. Ukitaka kulogin lazima uweke details ya birth certificate, ID number. Lazima ati uwezi login kuanzia saa 1 mpaka saa 4. Utakuwa na login kuanzia saa 4 mpaka saa 6, alafu wanafunga, alafu tena watawafungulia usiku saa 1. Regulations have to excuse me more. Man, na dedi ni. Anyway, regulation, they have to give us clear regulation and tell us ABCD, CFC, this is what will be happening. But me najua inaanzanga hivyo kidogo, the government takes over and controls everything. Si inaanzanga tu hivyo. Let's regulate, our children this, our children that. And utapata most of them, the children are not even in Kenya. Most of these MPs, me, I'm telling you, utapata the children, even if they're in Kenya, they're studying in some international schools that has the best education system ever. And the kid is not even in danger of being spoiled by TikTok. Na plus mtu yako akiwa anaweza haribiwa na TikTok, umefail wewe. Anyway, let's move on to the Kazo. Team Kazo.